Grab your pencil, your eraser, your ruler, and a 9 by 12 piece of paper, and let's draw an arrow type sign in 2-point perspective. I'm set up here with a paper that's 9 inches tall and 12 inches wide, and I'm ready to draw. So today I'm going to start with this measurement here. I'm going to start with 4.5 inches, and I'll write that down here so you're not confused. 4.5. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to start by measuring from my upper left hand corner. I'm going to measure down the side of my paper 4.5 inches, and I'll put a mark there. So carefully I will measure down 4.5 inches, putting a mark right there. I'll come here to the upper right hand corner. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure down from this corner down the side of my paper 4.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to line those up with my ruler, and carefully I'm going to connect those across from left to right, and this is going to be my eye level. This line right here, horizontal line running right across the middle of my piece of paper. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and label that over here right above the line. I'm going to print the two words eye level, E-Y-E-L-E-V-E-L. Eye level, also known as a horizon line, and that is the height of our eyes. This is going to be a drawing in 2-point perspective, so I need 2 vanishing points. My first vanishing point, I'll set it up here on the left side of my page. I'll draw a dot that touches the edge of my paper right here. So it's on my eye level, touching the edge of my paper, and I'll label that as VP1. Vanishing point number 1. Coming across to the right, I will draw again a dot touching the edge of my paper on my eye level. That is going to be vanishing point number 2, and I'll label that as VP2. Okay, let's set up some measurements. Now I'll take this 4.5 off so you're not confused, and I'll set up some measurements that I want to use. Okay, so I want to use 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so what I want to do is start here in the upper left hand corner of my paper, and I'm going to go across the top of my paper with those 4 measurements. And I'll put those in carefully without moving my ruler once I get that into position. Okay, and I'm going to go 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, coming down here to my lower left hand corner, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go across the bottom of my paper with those same measurements. So 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so let's start with our 6-inch marks. So I'm going to line those up like this, and I'm going to draw from the top of my paper down until I hit my eye level line right there. Stop right there. Don't draw any further than that. Okay, 7-inch marks. I'm going to line those up like this, and I'm going to draw this time from the top of my paper down all the way to the bottom of my paper, just like that. Okay, 8-inch marks. I will line those up like this, and I'm going to draw from the top of my paper down to the bottom of my paper with a nice vertical line. Finally, my 9-inch marks, I will line those up like this, and I'm going to draw from the top of my paper down until I hit my eye level, and I will stop right there. Okay, excellent. All right, I'll get rid of these measurements right here, and I'll put up another one that's nice and easy. So I'm going to use 1 inch. Okay, so what I want to do with that is I'm going to come over here to my mark, my 6-inch mark right here. I'm going to start at the top of my paper, and I'm just going to measure down 1 inch, and I'm going to put a mark right there. Okay, then I'm going to take that mark, I'm going to line it up with vanishing point number 2, like this, and I'm going to draw a line going towards my vanishing point, stopping right here where I hit my last vertical line, and going no further. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and from this location here, I'm going to measure down an additional 1 inch. So I'll line that up like this. There's 1 inch right there, and I'll mark that. Okay, I'm going to line that up with my vanishing point number 2, but this time I'm going to save myself just a little bit of work. I'm going to draw 2 sections, one right there and 2 right there. Okay, nice. Continuing, I'm going to use 1 inch again. So I'm going to come down here to my 7-inch mark, and I'm going to measure from the bottom of my paper up exactly 1 inch, and I'll put a mark right there, right on the line right there. Okay, and I'm going to take that mark and I'm going to line it up with vanishing point number 2 like this, and I'm going to draw a short line just here in between those 2 vertical lines like that. Okay, now if you can see a letter T being developed here, that's great. And I'm going to take a minute with my eraser and I'm going to clean up some of these lines, and I'm going to simplify my drawing so I can clearly see my letter T, my capital letter T, that I'm attempting to draw at this moment. So hopefully you are drawing nice and light. It's easy for you to erase. And let's do some erasing so that we can just see that capital letter T. Like that. Okay, I'm going to continue to erase right here. And this line also. This section of line as well. I'm going to continue right here. I'm erasing that right there. Okay, let me keep on going with my eraser. I'm going to erase this section here because I want this T to be nice and clear and easy to understand. And this section here. Finally, I'm going to erase part of my eye level, which is going to be behind my capital letter T. Okay, so as you can see, that is what I have so far, a capital letter T. Now, what I need to do to my capital letter T now is I'm going to add a triangle to this end of it. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to get my ruler, I'm going to look at the top of my T right here, and I'm going to extend straight up a line that is 1/2 inch long. So I'll draw straight up right there, 1/2 inch, just like that. So that means the length of this line from here to here, that's 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start here, I'm going to go down 1/2 inch. So I like to line that up with an even inch mark, as you can see. And I'm going to draw down half an inch. Okay, so this section right there, that is also half an inch long. Okay, then I'm going to measure the distance from here to here. Okay, so I'm going to measure that, and if I've done this correctly, that should be 2 inches, which it is. And I'm going to put a mark in the middle of that, which is of course at 1 inch. So I'm going to put a dot right there. That's the middle. That is 1 inch. Okay, now don't be lost here. I'm going to take that dot, I'm going to line it up with vanishing point number 2, like this, and I'm going to draw away from my vanishing point half an inch. So from right here, I'm going to draw up this direction half an inch right there. So that means that the length of this line right here from here to here is also half an inch. So I have half an inch this section, half an inch here, and half an inch here. Okay, and I'm going to connect that up so it is now a triangle attached to my capital letter T. So I'll do that like this, right there. And I'll do this right here like this. Capital letter T with a triangle attached to the end of it. Okay, very good. Now with my eraser, I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to combine my T with my triangle so it is all one single shape, as you can see right there. Okay, very good. All right, so at this moment, our shape, capital letter T with a triangle, this is what I like to call a flat or boring or even two-dimensional shape. It is missing the depth, and that's the purpose of perspective. So now what I want to do is I want to add depth using the rules of perspective. So I'm going to look at points numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to draw them all towards vanishing point number 1. Okay, so I'll start here at the top of my triangle, and I'm going to draw towards vanishing point number 1. Now I don't really need to draw all the way there, but in this demonstration I want to make sure you understand how the rules work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to draw all the way towards my vanishing point. Okay, location number 2. I'll line up like this. I will draw towards my vanishing point. Here's number 3. Bottom of my triangle. That goes toward vanishing point number 1. This corner is sometimes forgotten. I've got to do that one here. I'm going to draw that towards vanishing point number 1, like that. I'll come down here to the bottom of my stand of my sign, and I'm going to draw towards vanishing point number 1. And then finally, right here at the bottom of the section, on this one I am not going to draw all the way towards my vanishing point. I'll just go ahead and draw until I hit the side of my T right there. Okay, just like that. All right, very good. And notice we've been using vanishing point number 1. Okay, next measurement. I'll get rid of this one here. The next one I want to use is half an inch. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to come down here to the bottom of my stand and I'm going to measure straight out. I'm not going to measure up this line. I'm going to measure straight out to the left, and I'm going to use half an inch. And I'll do that like this right there. Okay. Somewhere up here in this general area here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure out straight across to the left, 1/2 inch. And right there. Okay, I'm going to line those up, and then I'm going to draw like this in between those two vanishing point lines. And this will give me the side of my stand. Okay, I'll take my eraser, and I'm going to erase part of my eye level, now covered up by the thickness of my stand. Okay, while I've got my eraser out, I'll erase the extra section here, like that, which is also going towards vanishing point number 1. Okay, excellent. Now, the next thing I need to do is I'll continue with my eraser here. I'm going to erase the rest of this section also, which was going towards vanishing point number 1. Okay, so now I'm going to take this location here where these two lines come together, and I'm going to line that up with vanishing point number 2. And I'm going to draw 2 sections like this. One section right here, stop, just a short section, and another one right there. Do you see how this gives me the bottom of that T shape? Okay, and then I'm going to erase right here as well, just like that. As you can see, I'm now working with an enlarged version of this drawing to finish off this very important area right here, the arrow of the sign. Now, you can probably tell that I need to draw a slanted line somewhere in here to finish this off, but I can't measure that, I can't guess at it, nor can I estimate it. I need to use the rules of perspective to figure out its exact and precise location. So pay close attention as we finish off this area here. Okay, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to start here at this location where these two lines come together, and I'm going to line that up with vanishing point number 1. Now you can't see my vanishing points anymore, but you'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to line that up with vanishing point number 1, and I'm going to go ahead and draw towards it. Just like that, as you can see. Okay, now that looks a little confusing. Don't let it bother you. Trust me, let's use the rules of perspective. Next, I'm going to take a look at this line here and this one here, and I'm going to put my ruler on them and line them up again with vanishing point number 2. Okay, now watch what I do here, don't be lost. Then I'm going to extend the line upwards towards the left like that. Okay, now let me move my ruler so you can see what I did. And do you see how these two lines cross each other? And this is the spot that I'm looking for next, is where the lines cross each other right there. Now I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to erase so you're not confused. Okay, and I'm going to make that just a little bit darker. I drew that a little bit light, but I want you to be able to see what I did there. Just make that just a little bit darker for you. It's okay if you keep yours nice and light. Okay, finish my erasing. Okay, now you can see these two lines coming together right here. And what I want to do is take my ruler and put it straight up and down vertical right on that location, and I'm going to draw straight down a short vertical line stopping right there. Take my eraser. I'm going to erase the extra length of the line like that. Okay, now I did all that work in order for me to find this location right there. And what I want to do is to draw a slanted line that is parallel with this one. The way I like to do it is this. I like to put my ruler on that slanted line. Gently and evenly I want to move it away until I see this corner right there. Take a look at my ruler. Make sure my ruler is even and parallel with this slanted line here. And then I'm going to draw right there. Okay, and that is the exact thickness of the arrow, and I was able to do that without measuring, guessing, or estimating, but using the rules of perspective. Okay, take my eraser. I'll erase this extra section right here like this. And then my last line, I'm going to draw from this location here a line that is slanted and parallel with this one. Once again, I like to take my ruler, put it on that slanted line, gently and evenly move it away till I see my little corner. Check my ruler, make sure it's parallel. I'm going to draw a slanted line right there. Now, the last thing I want to do with my arrow sign here is I want to finish off erasing. Now, these lines I drew in here, they were temporary, and I need to erase them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase right here. Those lines are temporary. I just use them to figure something out. But at the end, we don't want them to be visible. So I'm getting rid of them, and that little section right there too. Okay, and that completes the arrow portion of the sign. And there you have it. We're at the end, and we have an arrow type sign drawn following the rules of 2-point perspective.